So, hi guys, my name's Crankshaw and I'm a South African living in Israel. This is my third video blog, and already I'm tired of talking about Hamas and Gaza and terrorist groups and all the conflict. I know all you guys living in the alternative reality outside of Israel want to know what's going on here, but I think I should leave that up to the news guys, right? I mean, they're doing such a slap-up job. Just a quick reminder then, Israel's recent offensive to conquer Gaza, in which we targeted only women and children, failed due to the brave actions of Hamas, who defended themselves by firing homemade rockets at the aggressor, Israel. The final score, Hamas 120, Israel 5. Hamas wins. Yeah, right. I didn't think so. Well, enough of that. I've been living in Israel for 15 years, you know, and as the years pass, I find myself becoming more and more distant to friends and family who don't share my reality. I mean, firstly, it's a crazy reality, okay, but when I speak to them on the phone or on Skype, it's almost like I'm speaking to them from another planet. I tell them about the missiles, the bomb on a bus, and they tell me about Thanksgiving or what they plan to do over the Christmas holidays. You know, they tell me, if they're South Africans, they tell me how bad the crime is and how the recent government scandal is passing without anything happening. You know, there's just no way to connect these two discussions. While I rant on about how fanatics are threatening our lives, they complain about the lack of parking at the country club. And I realize how boring it must be to always hear the same news, you know, again and again. But what else have we got to talk about? And I realize how boring it must be to have the same news over and over again. It's like there's just no end to it. I mean, how shocked would the world be if the headlines read, Israel develops cure for AIDS, or Palestinian laboratory wins Nobel Prize? Would they even understand what they were hearing? I mean, it's just so out of the regular. Wouldn't it be great, though? I try to listen to the Hebrew news in Israel. I mean, you know, I never really got the Hebrew. And the only words I seem to understand are Arabim and Palestinaim. That's Arabs and Palestinians in English. So just imagine how tired the average Israeli must be of this situation. Of one thing I'm really sure. All of us are generating a lot of noise online. Whether it's comments about your bowel movements, what you had for lunch, or deep philosophical debates. There's a lot going on. In fact, it's almost completely incomprehensible. We used to say, you have blinkers on, when we were referring to someone who was naive. But I'm actually finding blinkers to be quite useful lately. Between the Facebook instant messaging, WhatsApp, Skype, I mean, there's so many different ways to communicate that I don't really need them right now. I like blinkers. They suit me just fine. My little old brain misses that static telephone on the table by the front door. I could be on the loo all by myself, out of touch. I could sleep in a dark room with no flashing charge light or the internet presence reflecting on my ceiling. I miss those days. But don't believe everything you read. That's advice now that should be more confusing than ever. The more the data, the stronger you need to be to process it. The truth will set you free. Great. But what is the truth? Well, that's my bit for this week. So have a great weekend. Cheers. Shabbat Shalom.